Hello, everyone, and welcome here to Speed Gaming 6, and welcome in to another of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer 2021 Tournament Swiss Round 1 matches. That is a mouthful, to say the least. Alongside Sneaky the Lost, I am Ferran Burgundy, and we have a rather intriguing matchup here for you tonight in Apex Corvid taking on a noted veteran of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community in Tristal MTG. And Sneaky, this one, I don't know, it's a little bit of experience versus somebody who's been a rather new and up-and-comer in Apex.
Indeed, but Apex Corvid actually did very well for himself in the past couple of tournaments, so definitely don't want to discount him. I think both runners have also been doing a lot of practice prior to this tournament, so we could see some real action here.
Most certainly. Now, for those unfamiliar, the object for Dragon Warrior is for our racers to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord. They'll need to collect certain key items to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow the runners to enter Charlotte Castle, the home of the Dragon Lord. And they'll also be fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, as well as gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quest. And what a quest it shall be, as we've got, well, it's a randomizer, so we have to have things that are randomized. In this case, the overworld map is, as well as the contents of the treasure chests and search spots. More about that in a little bit. The locations of the towns and caves are randomized, as are the contents of the weapon and armor shops. Also, the order in which our runners learn their spells, they're guaranteed to learn all 10 spells by level 16. Also, the enemy locations are randomized, as are the enemy spells and abilities, plus that Dragon Lord, which in the vanilla version of the game has 130 hit points, here has a range of 150 to 165 hit points, so strategy certainly comes into play.
Indeed. Right now, we're still looking at the schedule. One moment while we get the race actually started. We're just having a few technical difficulties on the back end. Shouldn't be very long, though.
Well, in the interim, one thing that I can mention is a new flag set or new addition to the standard tournament flags. It's what are known as scaled metal slimes. Now, what that means is the metal slime, which you're used to seeing as very difficult to hit enemy, but it usually gives you a lot of experience. Well, we've seen in years past where an early kill of a metal slime pretty much makes the race a foregone conclusion. As an immediate 255 experience near the start vaults you ahead a few levels of your opponent and makes for a rather lopsided race. So to counteract that, the programmers of the game, a little respect being given to McGrew, who is the creator of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, and a few others for helping put this together. The metal slime will give scaled experience of 32 experience times your level up to that 255. So that way, for the first couple of levels, let's say if you happen to get a metal slime on level 2, it's only 64 experience as opposed to 255. So that makes things at least a little bit more even, since the odds of killing one on the early go are rather low. So it wouldn't be likely to see you take care of 2 in a row.
Exactly, especially not with the Scaredy Slime flag also in play, which, if you're not familiar with it from previous tournaments, normally the way an enemy checks to see if it might run is going to be based on its defense, which Metal Slimes have the highest defense in the game. So the Scaredy Slime flag is basically Metal Slimes will always have an opportunity to run away, even if you have high defense and they have low attack.
So there certainly is that for balance, but the focus of our runners is kind of taking what they're given at the early start and seeing how they can advance in levels. Some runners tend to have a focus towards grinding at the start and trying to get those early levels before venturing out. Others like to branch out and see if maybe they can find a town nearby that might have a search spot, or find a cave that might have accessible treasure chests to assist them. So that strategy certainly comes into play as our runners go along here.
Absolutely. And there's something to be said for both strategies. On the one hand, if you're just grinding your newbie area with enemies you know you can tackle and take down consistently, that can give you an early experience advantage, which can carry you through the game. However, if you do some early exploration, you manage to luck into something like finding coal and then finding Erdrick's armor in the search spot in coal, that can also give you a huge advantage going forward in the game. So they both have their strategies, and it really is going to depend on what the map actually looks like to the players as to which one they're going to be inclined to try out, as well as what they might encounter as they're wandering around. If you've got red dragons wandering just outside the castle, it's probably not going to be a lot of exploration being done.
Yeah, that's right. There is that pesky swamp tiles. You'll see those throughout the land. If you step on those, it does 2 hit points of damage. And depending on how the layout is near the beginning, if you have low hit points, that means that your ability to traverse will be rather limited.
That is also quite true. If you start off with, say, maybe only 20 hit points, that's 10 steps before you're guaranteed to be dead, even without having to take on an enemy. So that can definitely put a damper on searching. Also, another change to the randomizer itself that has come up with this new tournament is some slight tweaks to a more end-game problem. There's a pair of skills that is generally referred to in the community as the Wombo Combo. It's a combination of the Dragon Lord's second phase, Dragon Lord 2 Breath, and Sleep. And there was a rather infamous match that happened last tournament wherein the randomizer kind of threw a monkey wrench into the works, and you ended up with Armored Knights with 75% chance of DL2 Breath, 50% chance of Sleep, and a 3 out of 5 encounter rate at the top of Charlotte Castle, and a 2 out of 5 at the bottom. So to counteract that, we've gone ahead and nerfed that slightly so that if you've got a Wombo Combo, you're no more than a 50-50 chance on both the DL2 Breath and the Sleep, and they've also dropped the stop spell resistance cap. So that was the other problem, is they had like a 12 out of 16 resist stop spell. That's been dropped down to, I think, 8 or 9.
Something along those lines. But yeah, just to make it so you don't have the likelihood of you can't win even on a maximum level 30 capacity.
And that's the enjoyable thing about this randomizer, because we are running these matches, these tournaments, seeing these kind of corner cases actually show up. We can kind of tweak the randomizer to make a more enjoyable experience. That's part of developing the randomizer itself.
Well, it's still a little bit of a work in progress, at least in some semblances of enjoyability, but there'll be time to work those things out, hopefully.
Absolutely. And as we run into other corner cases that make for an unenjoyable experience, they can get patched and fixed as well. And it looks like our runners are about to start here.
Well, I see that chat knowing, but punishment gives chat more enjoyment. Yes, but I think there is a limit to that. If the average seed goes about 90 minutes and we're approaching hour 3 with no end in sight, it tends to be how much is too much.
Valid points, both of them, yeah. Looks like our runners are getting ready. Looks like Tristal is going with a very interesting strategy on his character's name, a lowercase d. Uh, Now, lowercase z I would expect, or is that an uppercase z? Because that's your
Uppercase.
meta build. Yeah, that's the uppercase z, I thought so. Which is your meta strength HP build. And to briefly go over that, the first four characters in your name will somewhat impact your stat gains. There will be two stats that will be better than others. Well, we'll start off lower, but we'll have better gains overall, so that by the time you're facing the Dragon Lord, it'll be higher stats. Usually, Strength HP is the meta defining build. However, I think lowercase d is. What is that? Strength Agility?
No, lowercase d is also strength and HP, so they are running on the same build.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, lowercase f, which is sometimes used, that is a strength agility build.
Yeah, that's usually done when they expect a jet seed, because then you actually start off with a little bit extra strength than you normally would. And so, if you finish the race before that extra thing goes up, then you're ahead of the game. If it allows you to get that early lead advantage, then it can be beneficial sometimes, but it's not the typical choice, but I've seen it work out before.
Yeah, definitely a do what you can kind of thing regarding that. Looks like, yeah, we have one of our administrators, Zarnax, noting not exactly sure what happened, but a wrong button press proving non-trivial to overcome, which is not unlike what can sometimes occur when it comes to the game. I know I've had instances even earlier this week where accidentally hitting a button to put on the death necklace, which is a cursed item, that certainly had a very deleterious effect on my seed and race in that particular instance.
Ooh, unintentionally. Now you putting it on can sometimes be a viable strat, because it does increase your attack power by 10 at the cost of 25% of your maximum HP. The problem, however, is that you aren't permitted into Tentacle Castle while cursed, and of course you're missing 25% of your max HP. Looks like things are starting to work out as we see at least both of the runners' screens. The tracker looks like they're still working on getting taken care of here. Shouldn't be much longer, though. Speaking of which, we do have Kagalis running our tracker. It is not an automated tracking system. There's no bot running it. We actually have a fellow behind the curtain flipping switches and levers, trying to keep up with what our runners are doing.
Which in a lot of cases can be easier said than done. And that's a great great emote sprite there, Kagalis. Wonder where you got it. That was a shameless self-plug.
And while we are shamelessly plugging, there is a link for the Discord for the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community in chat. If this is the kind of thing that you like and you want to get involved in it, maybe do some runs yourself, by all means come on over. We're a very open, very welcoming community, and we're always there to help people get started with the randomizer, and who knows, we might see you in the next tournament. comment in chat, my money is on whoever wins. That's smart money.
If only it were that easy. I think we might just about have things, well, at least a little bit closer to looking up here. And yes, it looks like they, behind the scenes, they're looking to make sure that our runners are good to go. And the race is being initiated, so we are getting the 15-second countdown in racetime.gg. And we do appreciate your patience as we will be underway in a matter of seconds. We'll find out what the king is going to have for our heroes in the throne room, and then our runners will make the appropriate decisions from there. At least they certainly hope to.
Just remember, it's not making a mistake, it's manipulating the RNG. And here we go. They're getting the instructions now. First chest is a magic key. Second is a torch. If this third one is another magic key, which it is, we have an early key access. This can either get them into the armory early, or if they can scrounge up some money and get into the back of Tantagel Castle, they can have unlimited access to keys. And it looks like both runners are going to go ahead and make a save here just so they can check out what's going on in the armory and make a decision at that point if they want to just hit the reset button and keep that key in their pocket until they have enough money to buy more keys from the back of Tantagel Castle, or if they're just going to run with what they've got. And in this armory is going to be Dragon Scale, is going to be Gold, is going to be Wings. No, that's actually the Stones of Sunlight. And that is the Death Necklace. So Crystal is going to reset. I'm assuming Apex is also going to reset. Now that does bring up an interesting thing. You notice how those names of those last two items didn't really parse that well. That's because they had initiated what's called the gold glitch. And here we have coal right next to the castle. And here's an armory shop. There's half plate for sale there, which is not bad. If there was the really expensive stuff, could have.
So this is an interesting choice here from Tristal, and I can't say that I blame him. So he's going to start from scratch and work on that treasure chest glitch that we had mentioned. Pretty much treasure chests respawn every time you go to the overworld map, but due to the programming limits at the time the game was made, the game only tracks to 8 chests as opened, or tracks a maximum of 8 chests. So every chest open beyond the 8th can be taken over and over again. So here in the throne room, you have the opening 3. Now the game marks those and kind of keeps them in the bank as 3. So going back into the throne room, that adds 3 more into the mix. And then going in here and opening 2 of the chests, that enacts the treasure chest glitch, and then the 9th chest and 10th chest can be taken over and over again. So, only 1 dragon scale needed here, as that's going to be put on for 2 additional defense. And here, Tristal is going to build up some bucks. And presumably, I would say get up to, probably about 10,800 to be able to pick up that flame sword, the best weapon money can buy, along with the half-plate armor for 16 defensive points. So this allowance of offense here is going to be very beneficial for Tristal, and Apex is opting not to do it here.
Yeah,
not going that kind of next level thought.
Yeah, what Tristal is going to be doing, since he checked out that town, he's going to be getting some gear. That flame sword is going to be incredibly useful in taking out these bigger enemies. We've seen a magic drakey lurking around nearby. That would be a perfect enemy to start taking down with the amount of attack power that flame sword brings to the table. Meanwhile, Apex Corvid has that key still in his pocket, and he's already level 2, 2, 4, 3, and 16 MP. That's some decent gains. But with that key in his pocket, if he can get a couple $100 to go with it, he can have his cake and eat it too by being able to get into the back end of Tantagel Castle.
Oh, Magic Drakeys have hurt more. So there is that Erdrick's token. That's one of the 3 items that are needed to access Charlotte Castle. The Stones of Sunlight that we saw in the
armory.
In the treasury in Tantagel, that was certainly one of them as well. And with those Magic Drakeys having up to 12 or 13 hit points, being able to practically one-shot them or usually two-shot them, well, as you can see, it's already brought Tristal up to level 2, and he has quickly caught up and taken an experience lead over Apex here.
And that's exactly the kind of differences in strategies that makes the randomizer so interesting, because either one of these could theoretically be the correct move. Right now, we see Tristal is getting an early experience lead. He's able to take down things like this Poltergeist here, which gets him level 3, no strength, response speed 2, hit points 2, magic 6, and a spell of heal, which is an important pickup there. Meanwhile, of course, Apex is still kind of struggling a little bit with that, but if he can't get access to a key later on, he could be locked out of other areas like the back of Garenham. So you never know which one is actually going to be the, quote, optimal strategy until we see how this plays out.
Well, Apex able to take out a Scorpion and is also going to hit level 3, but right at practically the same time, here is level 4 for Tristal. 5 power, 2 speed, 4 hit points, 0 magic points, 0 spells. But they do have that spell of heal, which is going to be very helpful.
Yeah, that heal spell is going to really enable them to go a little bit farther and be a little bit more risky than they otherwise might be. Especially with the swamps tiles, having that heal spell in your pocket and enough MP to use it fairly consistently means that if you wanted to go exploring, it's now on the table as an option. Apex, meanwhile,
safety heal.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to die at this point. You need more experience points, so... And there we go, took it down, another 31 experience points. Meanwhile, Apex Corvid going to the one of the worst item shops in the game on the back of Cole.
Oh, that was rather unlucky. So...
Yeah.
Tristal hit the Metal Scorpion, which can have up to 18 HP, for 6 on the first melee and 10 on the second, so it either had 17 or a max 18. So the roll's a little unfortunate there for the Metal Scorpion. It can have anywhere from 14 to 18, so the odds were a 60% chance with those strikes of taking it down, but the odds fell against Trystal. Maybe that Trystal luck will come into play a little later. But here's a much more manageable regular Scorpion, and that will give Trystal level 5. 1 power, 1 speed, 11 hit points, 14 magic points, and probably some more grinding, as we see that magicians have the traditional fire breath. And chat noting that Apex did check the back of Tanagal, and whatever it was, it had green dragons in it, so that means it could either have been the Swamp Cave, the Mountain Cave, or the Grave of Garen. Ooh, well, there's a wolf for Trystal as Apex is working on the grind here at home, and oh, there's Stop Spell. That could be helpful as long as it doesn't hit.
Well, it just landed, but then he kills it.
Oh, a knight is a little spicy of an enemy at this point here. Hitting for 31, unable to get away, and back to the castle you go at the cost of half of your gold. And Apex finding the wizard, which is one of the later game enemies, and unable to run away from it, and there's a death on that side. But you can see the difference. That flame sword versus no weapon at all, that's a difference of 28 attack power, and that can work wonders on quite a few different enemies.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier with the changes made to the metal slimes, you're looking now at a 130-point experience lead that Trystal has gained because he bought that early flame sword, and magicians have heal more. That's annoying.
Heal more and the fire breath, and here comes level 6 for Trystal. Apex takes the death here, and oh, lots of double digits there. 12, 14, 2 hit points, 10, and we've got the spell. Oh, looks like Hurt and Sleep are in the mix. Oh, we got another town and cave. Will the Rogue Scorpion allow it to get there? Oh,
manages to get away from him, and there is a town and a cave here, but this Rogue Scorpion, with a surprise attack, can he get away, is blocked. It has a hurt spell, which is actually good because it hurts less than the attack does. With Healmore in his back pocket now, it's going to be a lot harder for it to actually hurt him. He's going to try and sleep this Rogue Scorpion. Does not work. He's trying to be able to take advantage of the fact that if an enemy is asleep, it is a guaranteed run. Meanwhile, Apex Corvid running into another Hurtmore from a Drakey. You gotta hate it.
It might have almost behooved Trystal there to try to go after that Rogue Scorpion. I mean, it is susceptible to the hurt spell. It has no resistance to it whatsoever. And, I mean, it's got 30 to 40 HP, so you could theoretically, with some good luck, two-shot it as the Star Wyvern here takes out Trystal at this point here.
Yeah, it's got what's called Baby Breath, which isn't as bad, except at this point we are still very low on hit points, so he never got to see what that town was, unfortunately. Looks like he's heading in a different direction. Yeah, he's gone, okay, you know what? There are star wyverns and rogue scorpions that way. I'm going this direction.
We got a pair of caves here to the south. One of them is the Rainbow Drop Cave. That's where you'll trade in all the respective items. And this is... must be Tablet Cave because one step in, one step out. Meanwhile, oh look, it's Breckenary.
Breckenary, home of the least expensive inn in the entire game at a mere 6 gold. We'll leave a torch on for you.
Well, opts to check out the cave, and it's the Mountain Cave. So that means, I believe... Oh no, by process of elimination, that means it could either be the grave behind the Tanager or the Swamp Cave. And a nice getaway there from the Green Dragon, but don't look now. Here's a Metal Slime over on Apex's side.
This actually is going to balance them back out, although only 128 because, again, with the scaled metal slimes, but that's still enough to get him several levels, put him at least on the same level and within spitting distance of Tristal. Meanwhile, a green dragon, sends Tristal back home.
Oh! We didn't see that from the wolves before, at least not that I recall. Apex getting the DL2 breath, that high fire breath that does anywhere from 65 to 72 hit points of damage.
Ouch. Yeah, that's gotta be a low percentage roll on the wolf, because he took a wolf out earlier and didn't see it, so... but that does make wolves a far less attractive grind option. But these poltergeists, he's taking these poltergeists down in 2 hits. They haven't shown anything dangerous, just a hurt spell, but that's less dangerous than, say, the DL2 breath. You know, he can just easily grind on these things, get a couple more levels.
Well, I believe with this next Poltergeist, yeah, just having heal and hurt, it looks like, the Poltergeist will be enough for Tristal to get level 7. Apex, meanwhile, is still a ways away, as 337 the target number for level 7, so Apex still has 137 to go, and level 7 has 10 power, 0 agility, 12 hit points, 12 magic points, and the Spell of Return. They've been going to the castle enough already.
That is some really good gains there in that level. They're starting to get to the point where they're going to be feeling more comfortable in wandering outward. Agility...
I think we might have lost Sneaky's audio there for a moment. Well, Apex is going to the back of Tanager, is going to purchase a key, and perhaps thought, oh, I can get 2 keys, but not quite enough with 100, as they cost 85 apiece, so is going to be avoiding the... okay. Well, here's the dragon scale. There's... oh, there we go. Knew that there was gold in there. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, because he had checked it out before resetting. He knew that gold was in there, so he was able to pick up some more keys. And now he has keys, whereas Tristal still does... well, he doesn't have them anymore. So unless he can find Rimuldar, he's still gonna be short keys. We'll see if that actually impacts the run, but that is going to be a point in Apex's favor, although he does still have a 200-point experience deficit, which is going to be something he will need to overcome.
Alright, Apex does put on the Dragon Scale and seems to be pulling up a little bit of gold here to be able to get something over across the way. Now, is obviously does have enough for... This isn't going to be a long grind for the... Oh, wait, there was a broadsword over there. Okay. So maybe going to 2,500, or maybe just going for the 1,500 for the broadsword.
I mean, at this point, Apex's strength is bad enough that a broadsword would dramatically increase his ability to take on a lot of these enemies that he's been seeing, so it makes sense. It's kind of a low-hanging fruit solution. It's not like the gold grind for the flame sword that Tristal got early on, but now he has a broadsword and he has keys. We'll see what he does with that.
And yeah, and it makes sense. The broadsword only has, I believe, 8 less damage or 8 less attack than the flame sword. 28 for the flame sword versus 20 for the broadsword. So that could push things more toward Apex's favor, despite the differential in experience here.
Power 4, response speed 7, hit point 7, magic 3, and a new spell of Hurt More! We now have the big boom, and that puts even more things on the table. His Flamesword was already letting him take on things like even wolves, or these Droll Magi just go down in one shot to these Hurt Mores. So things like Droll Magi, things like Wyverns, even Axe Knights are now potentially on the menu, boys, as far as getting experience. And these are worth a lot more experience now.
Yeah, so level 8's going to be the target here for Apex to get to, and the longer that it takes for Apex to get there, the more of a gap there's going to be between Tristal and Apex.
Now, Apex is doing an interesting strategy here. Ran into a wolf. He knows for a fact that wolf has the DL2 breath on sleep and took it down.
It looks like Tristal getting a little crossed up here in the dark. And is going to use a torch. There is something to be said for some of our more experienced runners. Oh, okay, went a little too far along there. Got it. To be able to navigate the caves in the dark, but if you get lost, you can see how troublesome it can be.
Yeah, especially in Tablet Cave, special mention, because Tablet Cave has no enemies, so you can't even death warp if you don't have a torch. Tristal finds the fighter's ring and immediately puts it on.
That gives 2 additional attack power to your total, even if you sell the ring and, oh, we've got Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game, and the Fairy Flute. Oh, wow. Huge
pickup here for Tristal. That is the best armor in the game. He's already got the Flame Sword, which is the second best weapon in the game and the best weapon money can buy. If he can pick up a decent shield, that's gonna be his gear, and that's done. This is going to give him a huge advantage in sustainability and exploration because now those swamp tiles are no longer going to be damaging him. And next level, 7, 14, 2, 5, and more magic.
Yeah, the advantage of this hurt more here on these green dragons, I mean, that has just allowed the lead to go rather... Oh, whoa!
One
Ooh.
hit point wonder, but he pulls it off. And that's 135 experience points because he's got those hurt mores to be able to take them on. And all for an herb.
But also the knowledge that there doesn't need to be a doubling back there necessarily. And gonna take a long way out here, but hey, get a little more experience along the way, why not?
You know, what I would do in his case is take a deliberate death warp here, go back to the castle, do a gold grind for the silver shield, and be done with it. Oh, right! Tristal doesn't have the key.
That was the risk-reward of that. So no, a gold grind not in the cards at the moment here for Tristal.
That's right. That is something that Apex might be able to do, however, because he does have keys. But that's okay. Even with a large shield, you're usually fine. Silver shield obviously is going to be better, but not strictly required usually.
Well, now Tristal finding a metal slime, and they have 3 hit points. Immediately hits 1, hits 2. The slime's sticking around. Is this where the Tris luck comes into play? No, it does not. It kicks out at 2 like John Cena.
Da 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 da.
But the Hurtmore works on a Star Wyvern, and just like that, Tristal is very close to level 10. Apex, meanwhile, picking up a little gold on the way out. This Demon Knight will give Tristal the level, but it's being rather dodgy.
With a certain very nice MP total there.
Oh, and it has DL2 breath as well, and Tristal says, enough of this, I'm out.
I do not blame him. Here's a golem. He was just straight up out of there. I might have been tempted to do the slightly safer strat of using that fairy flute he picked up in Mountain Cave to make sure that it slept while I ran, but it worked.
Well, the agility has been rather high, as there's another metal slime that opts to run away after getting hit twice. See, this one at least gets hit once and says, all right, I'm out. Let me not waste your time. Golems are a little beefier.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with golems yet, not at their level.
And here's Garenham.
Speaking of having problems with lack of keys, there's 3 chests and a cave back there, and it is very likely that cave is actually a swamp cave. Question in chat, that's what, 4 medals Tristal has seen? Yep, and wasn't able to take a single one actually down. Meanwhile, Apex Corvid has found one, has hit twice. Does he get the 3rd one? It's sticking around. Tristal picks up a small shield, good low value buy, and the metal slime runs away.
Well, what's apparently good for the goose is good for the gander, as after the first 2 hits, 4 misses in a row and then a run, and that's exactly what Tristal had previously. So now with some access to light, here is the tablet cave on Apex's side. So we'll see there's one chest, no enemy encounters along the way here. I don't believe they have the spell of outside, so it's going to be about a 45-second trip all told, and it's a magic key. So if Tristal were to venture down that way, which I don't believe he has thus far, he could utilize that to get keys and be pretty much negate the advantage that Apex has here.
I think he took one step, realized which cave it was, didn't feel like risking bonking his way through there and getting lost for a hard reset, and ran out. 3, 11, 2, 13 magic, and a new spell. And immediately cast the Repel spell. He doesn't really want to play around with the small fry at his level. Now that he's level 10, it doesn't really do him much good to be taking on the smaller enemies. So this ensures that anything he runs into is worth the 5 MP for that hurt, more like that werewolf he just took down in one shot.
So Apex gonna head back into this cave here, and we'll get a little bit more of an idea. We knew there was a green dragon in here, but it is Swamp North, I believe.
Ooh, Tristal taking down the Armored Knight. That is a really valuable pickup there. Yeah, he was trying to conserve magic by not doing a second hurt more on this werewolf and just trying to use his flame sword, but they do have a tendency to dodge occasionally.
Yeah, there's a 7 out of 64 chance for evasion or dodging. And I believe that is the second highest in the game, only behind the Demon Knight.
Tristal, meanwhile, topping off at the 6 gold in.
Oh, and it looks like Apex has found the Guardian in the Swamp Cave, and it's an Armored Knight. So that is what's known as a spike tile. So every time you walk on that tile, you will have that encounter.
That's 172 experience per hit. That can really help him. But just now, Tristal has found Remuldar, the place to buy keys, and has more than enough money to buy the keys. So Apex's advantage in having kept his key early on has now been negated. Now I wonder if Tristal will immediately head back to Garenham now that he has keys.
Well, first, a lot of people, they do tend to forget about this chest here behind the 2 doors. And, well, this time it's some money.
At least you get paid back. Uh-oh! Armored Knights have DL2 breath.
Well, it seems like it's a low percentage because I don't believe that Tristal was hit with that at any point. And maybe Tristal figures, all right, I'll just cast Return at some point or take a Death Warp and then go back up and check Garenham.
Yeah, that's got to be a 25% chance for DL2 breath on the AKs, but, you know, that makes it a much less attractive grind later on. Although, with the Erdrick's armor that Tristal has, that's a maximum hit of 48, which is not that bad.
There's definitely pros and cons with it. But this is definitely going to be the determining factor now, or one of the determining factors is how, along with the walk, do you grind? What enemies do you go for? Which ones do you avoid? I mean, that experience total is about 700 difference. Now less than that with the Green Dragon defeat on Apex's side. So now you're looking at just 580 difference, excuse me.
And Crystal hits level 11. Response speed 7, hit point 16, magic 7. That's a good hit point gain, but no strength. Of course, the other thing about those armored knights is if they've got DL2 breath, running into them is a very risky proposition in your final dive because they will be in Charlock.
At least it's good to know, and it looks like Apex is out of the southern end of the Swamp Cave, and well, it leads to another part of the land here. And there's a cave, and that is the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave. It's a freebie cave, one chest, that has a torch.
Meanwhile, Tristal has found Hawksness.
Yep, the abandoned town that is occupied by monsters, and we've got another spike tile here, and oh boy, it's another armored knight.
Let's
This
see
one's
if
guarding
Tristal...
something.
Ah, Stop Spell and DL2 Breath. Of course, Stop Spell is completely worthless against Tristal at this point. He has Erdrick's armor, which makes him immune to the Stop Spell. Does find the Silver Harp here. That is his third key item. Does he know where the Staff Cave is? I know he knows where the Rainbow Drop Cave is.
Well, I don't know if Tristal went down in that direction, because he would have seen the... along with that Rainbow Drop Cave, he would have also seen the Tablet Cave that has a magic key. I believe Apex has seen it, and is now casting Return. And here's Cantlin on Tristal's side.
Now, Tristal has the 3 key items. He's got Erdrick's armor. He's got the stuff. If this nope, go and fight. There is nothing on overland coordinates. It looks like poor Princess Gwendolyn will not be rescued this evening.
Well, what that also means is that Erdrick's sword is in a treasure chest somewhere.
Yep, because that was the only thing that could have been left on it. And he hasn't seen the back of Garenham yet, so it could be there, or in the cave behind it, which is going to be Grave, because that's the only one we haven't seen yet. Garen's grave in the back end of Garenham. Who rolled this?
Or it could be in Charlock.
Or it could be in Charlock's armory, or, even more interesting, the vanilla location in Charlock.
Well, wait a minute. Here is the grave out in the middle of nowhere here. So we've got some gold, more gold, and an empty chest that's either an herb or a key.
And obviously he's going to dive to the bottom. There are still 2 chests down there that it could very well be. So that means Staff Cave is in the back of Garenham.
Yeah, I was about to say, what is in the back there? Yes, the so that's where the Staff of Rain is going to be traded into. Or I should say the Silver Harp traded in for the Staff of Rain, and then you take the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token over to that cave next to the Tablet Cave to the south, and you'll get the Rainbow Drop to cross over into the yet-to-be-seen Sherlock Castle?
I don't think we've had a Sherlock sighting yet. Unfortunately, Apex Corvid ran into a Star Wyvern that has taken him down. Tristal is coming up to chest number 4 in the grave. Is not even bothering to play around with the Star Wyvern. Hits it with a Hurt More and smacks it down. And gets level 12. Is going to be power by 1, speed by 11, 2 hit points, and 8 magic. And there's a torch for his troubles.
Alright, so one more chest to check here in the grave. First, he's going to go for this blue dragon here. Okay. Okay. He realized, alright, this thing hits me harder than I hit it. We're going to hold off.
Probably the wisest. Looks like Demon Knights have DL2 breath.
Indeed they do, and they're not afraid to use it. This might be a bit of a loop here. Oh, nope, there's the attack. Able to get away.
Yeah, he's just gonna nope right out of that fight. But that's going to be something to keep in mind as well. Apex, finding Breckenary, picks up a small shield, sees that silver shield in there. He was probably thinking, okay, I know there's a gold chest in the armory. Do I set up a gold grind?
Well, it looks like Tristal is planning to do just that, as he's just kind of pacing that basement of the grave, and I think is... Yep, the casting of the stop spell is a dead giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Oh, no, Mr. Farmer, please don't throw me into the briar. And here comes the gold grind.
Oh, for a minute he misremembered which one it was.
Either that or he was wanting to make sure that he had the glitch enabled and wasn't missing a chest.
That's also a good possibility. Fair point. So Apex has been keeping pace here, is only trailing now by about 600 experience. So the pace has been pretty well common here, and Apex, barring any mishap in here, should be picking up Erdrick's armor on that second floor of the mountain cave.
Meanwhile, Tristal does grind up Silver Shield money. He's been to Breckenary several times, picking up a couple of keys to restock just to make sure he doesn't run out. And this could be his Silver Shield here. Now he's checking out the basement in Tantegel Castle.
And sees that it is Swamp North.
Now, he did the grind for the Silver Shield. I would be going to that Silver Shield right now and not risking something jumping me with a DL2 breath.
Well, for the immediate moment, if he were to take a death, it would just mean dipping out, but now he realizes, yeah, we're just going to go and get the shield and not mess about here. And there is the Fairy Flute and Erdrick's armor for Apex Corvid.
Yep, and he gets rid of the Fighter's Ring. Now, keep in mind that in Dragon Warrior, one at least. Even if you get rid of it, if you have equipped the ring or the scale for that matter, you keep the stat boost even if you later trade it away. And Tristal hits level 11.
Did Apex hits level 11?
Or
12,
level 12. Yeah, Apex just...
Give me the wrong person and the wrong level here. What? Had to make me think twice.
He's within 100 experience points at Tristal. He's caught up.
However, Tristal is going to stay at the inn here.
Okay,
And
he's wearing the Scale of the Dragon to be able to get his Death Warp now. And that's so he's gonna set up his gold grind. So the 3 chests in the back, wings, gold, and probably either an herb. It has to be an herb because it's not a key. And here's going to be the Staff Cave, because it was the last one that was available. So they're actually pretty close to each other in terms of content right now.
Yeah, this is pretty well even here, but with the determinations in those chests, that means that we've got ourselves the pyramid guessing game. Because the Erdrick sword is in one of 7 remaining treasure chests that we have not seen. All of them are in Charlotte Castle. So will it be among the 6 in the triangular formation in the final basement, or will Erdrick's sword be in its vanilla location?
You know, personally, if I haven't seen the sword or the armor getting into Charlock, and I know it's in Charlock somewhere, I always hit the vanilla sword spot first, just because I don't want to get trolled by having to go all the way back up to get it. But that's just a personal preference on a playstyle. We'll see how the runners do.
Well, that's one thing that's been kind of missing in action, has been Charlotte Castle.
True, neither one of them has had a sighting, and we've covered most of the walkable area that I'm aware of. Either it's on the second continent somewhere that we didn't see, or it's somewhere that they just passed like 2 tiles away from seeing.
Well, I think we're about to find out here as Tristal is going to make his way to the second continent. Meanwhile, Apex purchasing the silver shield, increasing the defense by 16 over the small shield. So yeah, they are pretty even in experience. They're pretty even in equipment. Just a little bit more exploration knowledge here from Tristal, and I think, is Tristal just kind of going for the grind and go at this point?
Well, he still needs to find the castle. He still needs to find Charlock. So he's probably... But I'm betting he's just like, you know what? I can find the castle once I've got enough stats to actually dive it successfully.
Well, plus, once you hit level 12 here, the experience needed to go from level to level goes up significantly. So 3,000 was the target number for level 12. For level 13, it's 4,125, so you got to get 1,125. Then from there, it's 5,625, so you have to get 1,500 experience. So as it goes up more and more, then it's, I believe, 1,875 for a total of 7,500. And then from there, it's another 2250 to get to 9750. So it just keeps going up and up. And if you have a way to be able to consistently get close to there with minimal challenges, although this is a little dicey here with the 30 HP, but he does hang on.
Yeah, he had a couple of hurt more resists there. And you could just imagine the princesses right now is hearing all of this clamor and commotion going on outside, and is so hopeful that her hero has come to rescue her, and getting herself presentable and making sure her hair is in order, waiting for her hero to arrive, only to remain in darkness.
So Apex went to the back of Garenham, saw that it was the harp trading cave, and realized, oh, I don't have the harp yet. Meanwhile, 17 power, 2 speed, 25 hit points, 8 magic points, and a spell here at level 13. And Tristal says, all right, we'll do some exploration for a bit now.
Yeah, Tristal was looking at his stats, looking at that 60-something on his strength, and going, yeah, that's not DL viable yet. Yeah, as was said in chat, hey, nice strength.
That is true, but yes, even with the flame sword and the fighter's ring and that particular strength, basically, to quote Janosch from Ghostbusters 2, in the eyes of the Dragon Lord, you're like the buzzing of flies to him! No Ghostbusters 2 fans? Vigo? No? Vigo the Carpathian?
That one is a little bit more obscure compared to the stuff from the first Ghostbuster movie. I don't think the second one landed nearly as hard in the public eye.
It didn't, but I figured most people had an understanding of Vigo. Well, okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, at least
Diesel
one
pilot
person.
who's helping take care of things here on SpeedGaming 6 certainly appreciates it. Yep, River of Slot. Okay, it was not obscure. All right. Yes, we did Mecha Link. Yes, the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave is a torch. For those of you just joining us, all but the Sharlock chests have been discovered by a combination of our runners here, and Tristal is now heading in the direction of where the Rainbow Drop Cave is.
In full possession of all 3 key items needed to obtain it, no less.
Now, I'm pretty sure, given the not quite ideal strength... Oh, we got a fairy flute here on Apex Corvid's side using on the golem. But I would imagine that Tristal is going to check that tablet cave for the magic key.
Well, here's the place to go. So he now has the rainbow drop. All he needs to do is just find Charlock.
Yeah, just levels. Yeah, find, grind, and go. That's pretty much what's left here. And yep, Tristal is going to check the cave here. Is going to be slightly disappointed to see that it is a magic key in the chest.
Hopefully there won't be too many self-recriminations at that.
Well, I appreciate the kind words from chat. Your love is certainly lifting me higher. That's another reference from the same, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also a great song back in the 60s.
Actually, yeah, it was.
Yeah, Jackie Wilson, 100% soul.
both runners still wandering abroad, trying to find Big C. There's another movie quote in chat.
The old man-eating toaster, yep. Alright, so Tristal is either going to go back and grind another level, or look more on the second continent, or perhaps a little bit of both.
I'm betting he's gonna try and check that second continent a bit more thoroughly. I'm betting he's feeling pretty confident he's searched this first continent and is pretty confident Charlock isn't here, which only leaves the second continent for where it could be.
And Apex finding a town here. Is this Hawksness? Yes, it is. So Apex should be able to take on the Armored Knight here and pick up the Silver Harp.
Mm-hmm. And he knows exactly where the Staff Cave is now, so he can take that on. Looks like Tristal is going to be doing some grinding on these Armored Knights. Which, you know, I don't blame him. When in doubt, grind it out!
And I see we've already got some guesses here for the pyramid game. Now, the reason we call it the pyramid game is because a couple of folks in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community, myself and Game Boy F9 for sure, we're game show fanatics, especially the classics. So we look back to that 80s version of the pyramid with Dick Clark, whether it was $25,000 or $100,000, and we kind of named the respective chests in the basement of Charlock after the $6 amounts that you could win in the winner's circle. So the bottom left chest is, we call the $50 chest. Bottom middle is 100, the bottom right is 150, middle left 200, the middle right 250, and the top chest 300. So I see that we've got a guess here. Nim Nim John's going for the $100 chest, and Commander Leonhardt going for the 200. And if for some reason it's in the vanilla spot, we call that the judge's table, because it's way out of the way and usually creates a lot of spite, especially with that tacky buzzer, that
Apex getting the information that there is no overland coordinate.
Now, did Apex hold off on fighting in Hawksness? Did I blink and miss that?
No, he grabbed the harp and bailed.
Oh, he did grab the harp. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, yoink!
You can see with the dedicated grind, now that that experience differential that was practically tied a little bit ago has expanded to
2,000.
Yeah, over $2,000. Oh, what a lucky... There's some Triss luck there. The casting of Stop Spell when all it took was an attack or a DL2 breath, and that would have sent Tristal to death. But able to get just another Armored Knight out of the way, and there's the death.
But as he was out of resources anyways, he needed a refresh, and it's just in the back of the castle anyway, so he can get right back to it. Yeah, in chat, there's a comment, we've seen all the towns, so he knows that wherever Charlock is, it's not going to be near a town, so he's hoping to grind out all of his resources so that when he does go looking for Charlock, he'll just be able to dive right in and get going.
Certainly makes sense. And And Apex is diving the grave, which we know is less than ideal, as all that's going to be found down there is a torch and a set of wings.
Unfortunately, he doesn't know that, and it is still 2 more chests that he needs to tick off his checkboxes. He's looking for that Erdrick sword. A question from chat, what's the stats look like? Well, MP is good. Strength not so much. Strength right now is, well, it's 60-something. It's nice.
Yeah, it's in the upper 60s. Although I believe there was a gain of 3 over and level 14, so I believe it's up to 72 on Tristal's side. So that does at least put the attack into triple digits, but not by much. 102?
Yeah, unfortunately, with how the game handles calculation of damage, which, if you're not familiar, you take the mob's defense, subtract that directly from the attack power, divide by 2, that's your max, divide by 2 again, that's your minimum. So at 102 attack, the Dragon Lord's second phase has a defense of 100, which leaves you with 2, divide by 2, that's a maximum of 1 damage you're doing to him. You're basically still doing chip damage. You're not going to be defeating the Dragon Lord in that yet.
Yeah, we did mention in the beginning of the race that the Dragon Lord can have anywhere from 150 to 165 hit points. So Apex getting the disappointing news, and at level 12 doesn't have the spell of Outside yet. So has to take the long walk out of the grave.
Well, there's that DL2 breath. If Tristal didn't know about it before, he knows about it now. But that's gotta be a 25% DL2 breath, and that's behind the stop spell. Oh, did we get a Charlock sighting? Oh, it's over by Grave.
Well, how about that?
So, Cantlin is in that general vicinity. It's the most expensive inn in the game, but at this point, gold is irrelevant, as you already have the best gear money can buy. That level did not help much. Strength is only at 81 now.
Look at that defense, 95. So, I mean, if there were Axe Knights around, Tristal would be able to defense break those. And what I mean by that is when your defense points are the same as or higher than an enemy's strength, there's a different attack range that's calculated, resulting in less damage, and in a few cases, even 0 hit points of damage.
Not only that, but at that point, you can repel them away, and repel does function in dungeons and caves in this version of the randomizer. At that point, you'll be repelling werewolves, you'll be repelling wizards, will they be repelling greens?
Yes, yeah. With that 95 defense that Tristal has, he would be repelling 5 of the 10 Charlock enemies. Wizards, werewolves, star wyverns, green dragons, and axe knights. But could still run into blue dragons, stone men, armored knights, golems, and red dragons.
Now, we haven't seen the Fun Police yet. So we don't know what they've got. They could be like just basic attacks. They could have stop spell and hurt, or they could have the wombo combo. We don't know yet. I don't think we've actually seen a wombo combo enemy yet. Whoa! Tristluck takes him down to exactly 1 hit point wonder.
Well, that has certainly helped us. At this point, it's just, all right, get the necessary numbers here. And you can see that experience difference has grown now to about 4,600.
Yeah, at this point, Tristal really is kind of in the driver's seat as far as this grind goes. However, Charlock is known as the Great Equalizer. Tristal does have an advantage, perhaps even a commanding advantage right now, but it ain't over until it's done.
And yeah, good point brought up in chat here by our tracker Kigalus. Tristal does not know where Charlock is. So the longer that it takes for him to find it, the more time that gives Apex to catch up.
Huh, the randomizer removed the door for the fairy water store.
Yes, that was an update that was done in, I want to say, version 2.1. Just to make Brecconary potentially a little bit more useful, since a lot of people look at Brecconary as the town of minimal use apart from the inn.
Well, it also has the weapon shop that's right there that could potentially have something.
Well, true, but I mean, compared to the other towns where, I mean, Rimbledar, you have keys, Cole, you have a search spot, Garenham, in the back of it, you've got 3 chests and a stairway. Hawksness, you've got the enemy that's on the trap tile. Cantlin, you've got the coordinates and 3 shops. Brecconary seems like it's kind of less useful compared to all those others.
True. And as we round the 1 hour mark, brief pause for station identification. You are watching the 2021 Summer Tournament here, the Tristal MTG versus Apex Corvid. I am Sneaky the Lost. With me in the commentator's booth is Ferran Burgundy. We've got Kigalis running the tracker for us, and also linked in chat is the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord channel. If you like this stuff, come on over. We'll be more than happy to get you started.
Well, Tristal has found Charlock. Now, I didn't look at the numbers here. Is he? I guess is he going for it?
He could be going for it.
Picking up the Erdrick sword on the way down and just going going for game.
It's possible. I mean, with the extra, 10 attack power over the flame sword that the Erdrick sword has, that would
12,
put him at, yeah, 12. That would put him at around 120 something attack. That's gonna be plenty. If he's got at least 130 hit points, he could even be looking at Cursed Necklace strats. At a minimum, he's going for that sword. He wants that sword to be able to shore up his attack power. Obviously, it's going to depend on what his resources look like when he gets down there. He could do it all in one dive, potentially, assuming this blue dragon lets him go.
Well, Mike, thank you for that. So, 81 strength. So, once he gets Erdrick's sword to be 121, plus the fighter's ring is 123. Yeah, the Death Necklace would be a little risky. I mean, you'd be doing an attack range on the Dragon Lord of 5 to 11, which would be 21 attacks with 15 heal mores. I wonder if Tristal is... I was gonna say, I don't know what he's necessarily going for here, because it's not like he's within striking distance of level 16. So perhaps this is a desperation feeling behind type thing, as Apex gets level 14, 3, 2, 4, and 12.
He is closing that experience gap. Now, Tristal looks like he's at least going to be going for a dive for the sword, and he's probably going to decide what to do from there. He'll either try, if nothing else, he'll be able to check out what the spike tile is in front of the Dragon Lord. Maybe it's something worth grinding on to try and get 16. Maybe not. Who knows? Either way, he might actually go ahead and give it a try. He may not win, but at least he'll get some information.
Well, a potential plan here, now I mentioned that defense earlier, Armored Knights are the spike enemies in Hawksness and at the Swamp Tile. If that spike enemy just before the Dragon Lord, the proverbial mini-boss, is an Axe Knight, Tristal can defense break that. So Tristal could just wail away with a little bit of heal walking on those Axe Knights, get level 16, and if that's the go level, then he's pretty much in the catbird seat.
Yeah. Now, we have seen golems a few times, but we haven't seen them do anything but punch more. We have not seen red dragons yet, so they're a complete unknown.
Well, here we go. You've got mere seconds to get your picks in. I'm going to go with the 300 chest. I'm going to go with the top one on the pyramid game here for bragging rights.
I'm going to go with Judge's Table. The odds are against it, but you know what they say, never tell me the odds.
Oh, it's a 150! And not even bothering to check the rest.
Yoink!
I forgot Trislock. Of course, it was going to be in the 150.
Now, it's interesting, he's actually attacking this Star Wyvern instead of running from it.
Oh, this is definitely a... Alright, now that the fairy waters run out, I'm going to try to take on enemies that can get me level 16. Like, he knows he's 800 experience away. This Armored Knight's going to hurt a little bit, but this will give a big 172, almost a quarter of that right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're 3-shottable unless he starts doing that DL2 breath back-to-back. You're pretty much good. He doesn't even want to play with these werewolves. They're just not worth it for him anymore.
So let's see what the Guardian enemy is here. Going to use an herb just to max out. And it's a golem. Well, there is the fairy flute strats.
And it is worth 255 experience points in the randomizer. Yeah, he's playing this really safe here. I'm almost certain he's gonna grind to 16 here and then hopefully get the strength that he needs to take him on, or the hit points.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it would have been better to bypass the golem and then just try to go on some of those weaker enemies like the Star Wyvern.
Well, with the fairy flute, if it behaves, you know, you can get away with getting a lot of experience points for a little bit of damage. If he only hits you once, then you're doing pretty good.
That is true.
Like this one, it was just a free kill. Well, nope. I spoke too soon. It woke up on the last hit.
So let's see what 16 brings. 2 power, 1 speed, 0 hit points, 2 magic points, and oh boy.
Womp womp. Bom, 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 bom.
Wow. So Mike almost with a premonition here, knowing that it was going to be a 6 to 12 range.
Yeah, Apex continuing to grind at 15. I'm almost certain he's going to continue grinding since he knows he doesn't have the stats at 15. And he knows what trouble.
Oh no, a back attack to start.
Ooh, that is not good.
Alright, he's going to use the fairy water here, so that's 15. That's a good roll. Almost a maximum roll. Has another to use, and that's another 15, so we're at 30. And able to get a triple out of this here. Okay, 41. At 52 now, has to use another heal more. Has 11 left. These are great rolls. 63. Now 71. Has to use a heal more here. And another 11 up to 82. Now 91. Now at 99, has to use another heal more, is down to 6. Now at 106, there's a lower end of the roll. $117. Here's a double, though.
A double, yeah, but only 6.
Now at 123, down to 4 heal mores. 133, yet another double-digit hit. $141. Yeah, chat's saying this should do it. It's looking pretty good. Oh, that max 12 certainly will. 153. Again, the next hit could certainly do it. If it's a max, it definitely will. Oh, 160. This last hit should do it. Not even bothering to heal. 166, and Tristal is going to do it.
Break out your GGs! Tristal MTG has defeated the Dragon Lord and is returning with the Orb of Light. And he finishes in first place with a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 8 seconds.
Now, to Apex's credit, it looks as though he is going to continue here. Now, 16 was certainly... It was certainly dicey, but I mean, Tristal was just getting the rolls. I mean, the number of 10s, 11s, and 12s that were coming as opposed to the 6s, 7s, and 8s. Definitely, you know, the Tris luck was certainly there, and it looks like Tris will be joining us shortly here to talk about the race. Well, and Triss will be rating here as well. Thank you so much for that. And we have Tristal joining us here in the booth. GG, Tristal.
GG, hopefully my audio works.
It does. We are able to hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
So, thoughts?
Yeah, I had some interesting luck at the beginning of the seed. Hopefully I was smart in getting the flame sword early instead of keeping my key. I think that worked out for sure. Lots of dodges early on, but really, otherwise it was pretty smooth for the most part, I felt like.
Yeah, you did get an early lead, experience lead with that flame sword purchase. Corvid did decide to go ahead and hold on to his key so he could have more consistent access. Unfortunately, I don't think it really paid off for him that much, but he did manage to make up the experience deficit by taking on a couple of metal slimes.
Oh yeah, those were kind of everywhere in the middle, and I got to 2 hits on 2 or 3 of them, and they just were not there for me, but that's alright. I really can't complain about too much other than that final level that I spent so much time to get gave me almost nothing.
2102, yeah, we saw that and thought, uh-oh. At this point you were kind of pot committed, so you just kind of went for it, and that's when the Triss luck really kicked in, as there were so many 10s, 11s, and 12s on that 6 to 12 range on DL2. And then you had a couple of double attacks in there as well, and it definitely felt like there wasn't a need to sweat.
Yeah, the beginning of that fight was almost perfect. The fairy waters hit for like 15, a few 10s and 11s, like you said. Not too many doubles. I think I only got 2 doubles because he really, really liked to breathe fire today, but good enough to move on at least, so happy with that.
Well, the good news is you're 1-0 and moving on. The not quite as good news is you'll be taking on somebody else who's 1-0 in this first of 5 Swiss rounds that'll be going on.
Yeah, I'll take that compared to the alternative. I'm happy to be 1-0 given that I really haven't been practicing as much as I should be. So hopefully just keep a positive outlook moving forward for the rest of the tournament.
Better than most in that regard. So looks like Apex here is at 16 and was also less than thrilled, so is going back to that Armored Knight grind. And I don't know, was there, I guess, a thought to any other place to potentially go, or is it just, all right, despite their DL2 breath, we're going to go with this Armored Knight here in Hawksness? Or, I mean, well, they were in Hawksness as well as in the Swamp Cave.
Yeah, I didn't even see the Dragon Lord breath until a lot later. I think it has to be Stop Spell 75% first, and then maybe DL2 breath, so you really didn't see it that often. Actually, at the end of my level 14 grind, or onward to level 15, I was basically just trying to Death Warp and get to Dragon Lord's Castle and hope that 123 attack would be enough. And then the Armored Knights just kept dying because they refused to kill me. So I was halfway to the next level by the time I left there, and I figured, well, unless Apex Corvid is like a minute to 30 seconds behind me, I may as well just get this next level too, because I wasn't supremely confident in the attack power, even though I had 2 Fairy Waters. Like, I think the fight had to go pretty well like it did for me to beat the Dragon Lord with that. So, I mean, 125 is just a little bit better, but not that much better.
No, it certainly wasn't. And I guess, was your plan going into Sherlock? We'd seen that you had about 8,500 experience midway to level 16. I don't know. Was there a thought to get a little bit closer to 16 before going into Sherlock, or did you was your intent to kind of be halfway there almost, as far as experience getting to that 80 or 9750?
Yeah, when I broke from the Swamp Cave in Tanagal for the last time, I actually hadn't even seen Charlock yet. So I still had to go find that. So I figured, depending on how much experience I got on the way to Charlock, I'd kind of gauge my reaction based on that. And the more I thought about it, the more I felt like I usually want to over level a bit. Like, I know you can do it at 123 attack power there at 15 heal mores, but it's not the confidence level I want to have going into a Dragon Lord fight. So, given how close I was, I figured the mini bosses would be alright. Any Armored Knights I saw on the way down would probably not be an issue. So, we'd see how close I could get to 9750 after the mini boss, and then the mini boss turned out to be Golem, which was perfect because we had Fairy Flute. So I figured it was only going to cost me a minute at most to kill Golem a couple more times. Luckily for me, it worked out okay, but the payoff could have been, 8 power would have been huge. That would have turned a so-so fight into a nearly guaranteed one, I thought. So I thought that was my decision process on that.
Okay, and perhaps I guess finding it a little earlier than I don't know, planned on it. I mean, I probably made it a little different. It's hard to say, but I guess you just kind of played the hand you were dealt, and it worked out rather well for you here. And Apex now is closing in on level 17, and I believe is one Armored Knight away. Yeah, 839 plus 172. That does cross over to the 12,000. I can math sometimes. We have a question in chat. Did you find Charlock earlier? It looked like you went right for it at the end.
No, because I found Garen's grave, which is right by it, but that was like the only place on the map I hadn't found. I actually did check the north part, north of Cole. I hadn't completely finished off, but that was pretty much the only spot Charlock could have been in. So I had not found it earlier, but there wasn't really anywhere else it could be, because I had explored the entirety of the second continent and really everywhere else.
Well, level 17 was 5035.
That should still be good enough, because now we're at 128, I guess. So yeah, that's a pretty good breakpoint, honestly. Especially with so many heal mores. I don't know if we got another heal more after that or not. I wasn't really paying attention to the MP gain, but that should be plenty, especially getting Fairy Water too.
Yeah, Apex Corvid went to Breckenary to pick up some Fairy Water as well. He's about to start his dive.
Yeah, normally I don't even go for Fairy Water strats. This is honestly, like, I know I'm a year or two behind on that, but that's really kind of new to me. I generally just go with what I have. Breckenary or Cantlin just typically aren't on the way to Charlock. I don't think that far ahead to have enough Fairy Water on hand, especially before I have inventory space when I make the Rainbow Drop. So that's at least something I'm trying to incorporate, because I know it's obviously a good idea if you can incorporate it.
Yeah, but looks like he's gonna try and do his dive here pretty soon. He is at level 17. He's got a little more stats. We'll see how that works out for him. Shouldn't be too difficult. Of course, the big deciding factor, I feel, in the difference between the two of your runs was, number one, you found Erdrick's armor very early on. He did not. And number two, you did your grind with a flame sword. He did it with a broadsword.
Yeah, I mean, really more accurately, I did my grind with Hurt more. The sword was barely a factor because the power was so low early on. But just throughout the game, being able to kill, like, I don't know, Demon Knights or something, that was actually pretty big. And you're right, I forgot I had gotten the armor so early as well, and being able to get an early lead with Flame Sword led to being able to explore Mountain Cave some more, and then that just kind of snowballed everything to get to the end quicker, I guess.
Well, it was a gamble. I was about to ask, hey, is this Michael J. Fox? Because this is some risky business, but you pulled it off. So good job.
I thought wasn't
Very
Tom
nice.
Cruise in Risky Business?
Yeah,
Was it Tom Cruise?
yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. I
Grizzly
was
Adams
wrong.
did have a beard. No.
Okay. I don't know why I keep thinking that, huh? Anyway, but that was some risky business that you pulled off, but you did manage to pull it off. You pulled out your victory to get your name on the tally sheet. So all's well that ends well. But yeah, in my opinion, it wasn't necessarily the decision to get the flame sword early, because like you said, you had a fairly early Hurtmore, and at that point, the Hurtmore was doing more than your actual flame sword was. The big kicker was you found Erdrick's armor early, and then your grind in the late game was just more efficient because you had that flame sword.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. My byline that I had thought of in the early part of the game too was the enemies were dodging me like they were getting drafted into Vietnam, because I got 2 critical dodges early on too. That just, I felt like it was going to be one of those runs, but then it went totally the opposite way with the Dragon Lord fight in the end, so it worked out okay.
Oh, looks like Apex is now getting into the armory of Charlock Castle. He's refreshing his repel spell. He still has 132 MP, so he's got plenty of heal mores in the tank. Finds the Erdrick sword right off the bat, dabs out, and is going to go ahead and try and take on the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, this is an incredibly smooth Charlock at level 17 here.
And because he's got, 95 defense, he's defense breaking half of the potential encounters. You've got this armored knight here, which is deciding to start breathing fire on him, but it's just not letting him go for some reason. Tried the RNG manip with the cancel, command.
Hey, if it works. Yeah,
Sometimes you have to create your own luck.
Every Charlock's gonna have that one enemy that just refuses to let you go. I had a blue dragon that I tried to run away from 5 times before it succeeded. Do you know how much Apex's early metal slime was worth?
120 something.
128 probably. Nice.
128, yeah. So it came in at level 4.
Yeah, I tried my best, but I couldn't. I couldn't kill a metal slime at any point to see the new experience chart for it. Although I don't think I encountered any until level 8 anyway, so I don't know if it would have mattered.
No, you would have gotten the same 255 had you taken it out. But yeah, it really only affects the first, I want to say 6 or 7 levels.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a huge difference for me since I already had Hurtmore at that point. Like, my experience per minute was already pretty good, so the Metal Slime wasn't necessary at all.
Actually, yeah, it would be the first 7 levels, as if you got it at level 7, it would be 224 experience. But here we go. Here is the Dragon Lord fight.
Does get that opening double, fortunately. This is really his fight to lose. Yeah, the extra strength is helping him out. He's hitting for 12 and 13 here, so this should be in the bag.
Ooh. Gets the 49 and almost pays for it, but not really, because you know you're safe at 49 here with this defense.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a 50 hit like you would with a lower agility.
And there it is. So get out your GGs. Apex Corvid is going to fall to 0-1, but certainly had a gallant effort here. Official race time, .gg time, 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 55 seconds.
I mean, he still acquitted himself honorably in this seed. Really, he did. You know, it was simply a matter of he did not run into Cole where the armor was until much later, and that cost him.
And it looks like Apex will be joining us in a moment here. There we are, and we have Apex Corvid joining us. GG, certainly an interesting seed. What were your thoughts on it? Oh, well, we can see the light on, but we're not able to hear you. Gotta love the Discord technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, you gotta love it.
Oh, there we go.
GG to Tristal. To be honest, that was one of the less rude seeds. I think the big thing was I dove grave completely. It didn't pay off for me. So when I was sitting there grinding and I saw the dot done, I figured, okay, we'll just settle in, and rather than push it with Death Necklace at 122, we'll just get the next one, finish it up nice and chill.
Yeah, it turns out that the kind of one of the pivotal moments was actually near the beginning of the seed. Upon traveling to Cole and seeing that there was that flame sword there, probably about 3 minutes in, Tristal just completely started from scratch, erased the quest, started a new quest over, did a gold grind utilizing the key, which was a bit of a gamble there, but grinded up to about 11,000 to get the half-plate armor and the flame sword, and was utilizing a flame sword from near the beginning at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one. I just get a little nervous about losing keys for that much of the seed, and especially if you end up with Hurt More at level 2. But yeah, I can see that being the play to get out of that jail at the beginning, having to deal with those Magidrakes that were just nuking us, and the magicians weren't much better.
Yeah, it allowed him to quickly work on Poltergeist and some of those other Zone 1 and 2 enemies, and that allowed him to more quickly get to level 8, where Hurtmore was acquired, and then from there it was just off to the races.
Yeah, other than a little bit of rudeness at the start, there weren't a lot of nasty surprises. The map wasn't awesome. I think I've got 90% of it scribbled out on my notepad here, but that'll happen.
That was definitely a funky map. I don't think either one of you found Charlock until the very end.
Well, yeah, there's about 3 little choke points you have to go there that were like a single tile wide, a couple tiles wide. So it was a long and winding road.
Well, I could do a few more bars of that, but then I'd have Paul McCartney after me, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah, I showed my age with that Beatles joke. All right. But yes, we found out that Tristal's computer apparently just blue screen of death. So he left the booth here. But yeah, as you had mentioned, this was not that cumbersome of a seed compared to a lot of what we've seen. So I guess it was a little more lenient on that regard. But any other thoughts here before we close up shop for the night here?
Just a big thank you to you, Ferran, Sneaky, Kigalis, and Diesel, Zarnax, anyone else involved in putting this together. We had a tricky time finding a date that worked, and I know there's a lot of action right now. So big thank you to you guys. And really, we're lucky to have Ferran and Sneaky in the booth for this. It's got to make for good watching.
Well, we certainly do what we can. That's or we do what we must because we can, or something along those lines. But no, we do, yeah, we do appreciate the kind words. And anything else, Sneaky? And then I'll kind of put a bow on this one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been a pleasure watching both of you run and seeing both of you do different strats and seeing how that works out. Just showing there is no one true way to run this game. You just have fun and do what you can. Of course, you know, the other match running on right now is probably one that's got a little bit larger viewership. It's the two champions from the previous tournament in a head-to-head.
Well, I was going to say that one actually finished well before us. I kind of peeked over at that here, but yeah, they had an even nicer seed than we did. So I won't say who won or who finished first or who finished second. I'll just say that it was a quicker finish, and we'll leave it at that. Now, as far as other action, we've got 4 races coming your way tomorrow. One at 4 p.m. Eastern, one at 9 p.m. Eastern, one at 10 p.m. Eastern, and one at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. All on networks still to be determined. Hopefully we'll be able to see if we can squeeze them in here among these Speed Gaming networks. We certainly appreciate Speed Gaming for all that they've done here in this and previous tournaments as well. For everyone, and yes, Tristal in chat here is echoing Apex's sentiments for all the staff, and for all of us here at Speed Gaming, for our tracker Kigalis, as well as my broadcast partner Sneaky the Lost. Until next time, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying stay classy, my friends, and more importantly, stay safe. Good night, everyone.
Take it easy.